I think we fixed it. Okay. I think I was just too far away from the Wi-Fi was our biggest issue. So hopefully I'll fix that now, but we have now a lovely little plant right beside us. So we'll navigate that and we'll watch out for its little spikes. But I think we'll be okay. We've got a stack of brushes, a stack of paint, and guys, we're exactly where we were yesterday. Just adding little pockets and moments of detail to slowly build up the picture. It hasn't got more complicated than that. So we'll continue doing that. You know, I personally love it. I love adding tiny little bit after tiny little bit. Just one after the next. You only want pebbles in size though, guys. I'll show you that. You see that? Just tiny bits of paint. The last thing I want to do is get overly excited and start hammering around just armies of it. Pebbles. Pebbles of paint. And the other one that I've been hanging out for is this. How do you pronounce that? I can't. It's a great colour though. Here we go. Love that colour. Big pebble of that one. Big pebble of that one. And then I think I'll sneak sky blue. It's pretty, but it can be boring. We'll just get a pebble of it. Just a little pebble. There we go. Plenty. Let's see what else I've got here. Parchment. Parchment and olive. And that will be everything we need, I think. Everything we need. That's plenty. Pa. And one more dot there. Pa. And now the last thing I'm going to add, transparency gel. This stuff's incredibly helpful. So what the transparency gel does, increases the flow of the paint that I'm using, makes it easier to spread, and makes it shine a little bit, but also makes it the teeniest, tiniest bit see-through. And if it's just a little bit see-through, the result we get means that we can see all the colors underneath. Delightful instant coffee. What a thrill. And I think I might push this table back into the bushes a wee bit. Just like that. Just like that. Perfect. Welcome on in, guys. User 706-583-6199258. I hope you're having a great morning. Right. Now here's our image. Here's our beautiful mountain. And we're going to start with this more spread brush. Because its bristles leave more of a dabby, sort of spread out powdery texture to it. Morena, welcome on in, Ashley. And the man who bakes, long time, it's been forever. Well, welcome on in, the man who bakes. It's a delight to have you back here. We're still here with Pennsylvania State, but in the very near future, we'll be starting Hong Kong. It won't be today, but I can't stop thinking about it. And very soon, we'll make that painting a reality too. But like I say, all our attention right now, every last drop that we can muster, is going in on Treasure State. Cheers, guys. You can hear the birds right above me playing, which is kind of fun. Mike, welcome on in. And who else do we have here? Laura. The Pebbles chocolates. I've never had a Pebbles chocolate. Is that a bad thing? I'm more of a... I need to grab some tape, guys. That fold there is going to do my head in. I'm going to be back in a moment with some tape to hold that down. And hello to Paris. It's just through this way. It's a big, thick, black. Yeah, it is bold, but it's funny too, because yesterday I said that I wouldn't do that. I would just wear shoes on the rocks. But I get the feeling that today, even though it's morning right now, the sun is going to come up and start baking this area. So my plan is I'm appropriately dressed for when the heat increases. That's my plan. But at the moment, and we're not moving around a whole lot, so I think we'll be okay. Do you sleep, bruh? I do. I do sleep. I do sleep probably too much, actually. And I was laying in bed today, literally about 45 minutes ago, thinking to myself, maybe I'll just keep on sleeping. And then there was this quote. I love it. It's by Eric Thomas. He's like, some people love sleep more than they love their dreams. And I thought, oh, get up and do some painting. Sebastian, the lighting's perfect. The day is fresh, the lighting is perfect, and you know what you want to do. You know you want to add a bit of parchment into a deep phthalo green and start playing around in the bottom right-hand corner. So what are you doing laying in bed? So I mixed myself a coffee, I got up, I came out here, and this painting this morning, today, right now, here, is a little bit better because we did that. And we just keep having fun, adding these little pockets onto the work, building it up bit by bit. This is a bit more opaque than how transparent I'd usually go at this stage, but that's okay. I want these bits to stand out. This parchment and phthalo for all the fun it is. Enjoy your day, Bubbly. That's one of my favorite songs when I was in high school. Starts in my toes and I crinkle my nose. Wherever it goes, you always know. You make me smile, please stay for a while now. Great song. Absolute banger of a song. Ashley, I'm inclined to agree. The reason why it's the perfect way to spend the morning too, from a sort of operational standpoint, is the lighting is diffused at this time. So we can face the canvas any way we want, and we can basically look any way we want, and the sun's not too intense. I'm actually looking right now in the exact direction of the sun, and I'm not squinting my eyes trying to see, which is absolutely lovely. I can read the phone screen, I can paint, and I can concentrate on the art. You can lose that opportunity in the heat of the day. You'll notice if you've joined the hot streams when I'm trying to work in the middle of the day with the sun pounding down, that I do, I'm sorry about this, it's very rude of me, but I do sometimes ignore the comment section. And the reason why that happens is I just can't read it. The sun's just coming down too heavy. So, the wind has been intense lately. The weather. It has been. It has been. Ashley, are you in New Zealand or where are you from? Because for me, the intensity and the heat has been absolutely nuts here in New Zealand. It's really been shaking me up, I'll be honest with you. And so I've actually been focusing, because I know I say that the heat and the wind and stuff is part of the process, but at a certain point it gets literally too hot that the paint gets the water pulled out of it too quickly, so it can't set as well. So heat's okay, but at a certain point heat is just too much, and we were definitely crossing that line. Ahaha. Ashley's from Auckland, and the heat's been insane. Yeah. Ashley's from Auckland. I was in Auckland, Ashley. Me and my partner lived out in Orewa, and it was just the most incredible place. Such a beautiful spot. We'd go for swims in the morning, and we raised our first child there. I say first child, we've got one child. We haven't got more than one child. We've got one beautiful little daughter. She's asleep right now, which is another reason why the mornings are great, because while I'm painting here at the moment, she's fast asleep, which is exactly, there we go, where we want to be. Sneak around the edge of the canvas there. Beautiful. Beautiful. I just want you to know that you're my favorite girl. And chucking a bit of olive green, make the color a bit more naughty. You can see this brush is really, really fun, guys. I'll show you this. See how spread out this brush is? It's a wide brush. And the reason why this is a great brush for right now is as I'm stroking gently, I'm just using those bristles. So that's meaning that only those teeny tiny tips are actually leaving little traces on the canvas. So it's building up little pockets, and I said powdery, I think that's the wrong term. It's just skims over the top, and that's a beautiful, beautiful added element, especially when you're doing things like forestry, nature, things with quite a turbulent texture on the minute level. A brush like this can help you add that texture. There we go. You don't want to overdo it though, because it can make the painting quite, dare I say it, abstract. There we go. I just want you to know that you're my favorite girl. Beautiful. There we go. And if I... and combine that into the other green I've got here. I need more of these brushes, guys, there's no doubt. That's true. Priestess, welcome in. Have you been here since, have you been here since we started this piece? Because it's gone on some pretty fun journeys. Pretty fun journeys. There we go. It's got more fun journeys to go on yet before we get it to completion. Todd, I accept your blessing. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. There we go. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, I'd buy you a fur coat, but not a real fur coat, that's cruel. If I had $1 million, Neptune, Uranus, I'm following. Love sign positive, I think. Oh my God, love that. What's his moon and rising? All right, let's get into it. Let's do it. One fun fact is my daughter was born on April 19th at 9:30 p.m. Why is it a fun fact? Well, she's an Aries. She's an Aries, but if she was born 3 hours later, she would have been a Taurus. And I like bulls, so I was just telling Shelby, hold on. No. No. So, 9:30 p.m. I wonder if they get that in the hospital though, when you're right at that sort of cut-off line between the days. If someone knows they're close to 12 a.m. mark and the switchovers to a new star sign, if anyone, tries to hold off or tries to get the job done, I can tell you from my own experience there with Shelby, it didn't cross our minds at all. We were in the, what's that song from the 80s? Heat of the moment. We were just trying to make sure everyone was safe, everyone was happy, that everyone got through it as a family. There we go. It was the heat of the moment, telling me what your heart is. Heat of the moment in your eyes. There we go. Where do we go next? A few little blotches, a few more little blotches. Get that drop. I just purged the transparent yellow into my green. Got the exact same olive green I was working with right beside it. Yet I wonder if there was any point to what I just did. Oh well, more of the same. Finally, you're doing scenic paintings. KK Newley, welcome on in. KK Newley is one of the valued opinions that we have coming into the stream. Tell me, how does this painting make you feel? It was the heat of the moment, telling me what your heart is. Heat of the moment, struck in your eyes. There we go. Splash that around there. Beautiful. Very earthy. Yes, good. Good. Your best sea painting. Ooh. I haven't done a sea painting in a while. But I guess any painting you look at becomes a sea painting, and then after you stop looking at it, it becomes a saw painting. Let's have a little look-see in here. There'll be a bunch of people in the stream currently slapping their foreheads. Now I guess that makes every painting a seesaw painting. It makes me feel cheerful. I like everything about it, even though you hate greens. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that one person thought that joke was funny, because I played it real cool, but I was thinking internally that I was hilarious. So I appreciate the love for that one. You're right. I thought the greens would anchor this piece along with the deeper blues, the greens on top, and then I wanted to send the rest of the color palette everywhere. But the one thing Pennsylvania showed me as a state was that there had to be this embellishment of greens, otherwise it wouldn't capture the essence of the place. And so we've really gone wild with not just one simple tone of green, but a spread of 6 or 7 pigments in the green realm to actually help it all come together. Jay, welcome on in. Lovely to have you here. We are here on a painting that probably doesn't need any more introduction. It'd be getting greedy if I keep giving it introductions. Remind me of the Caribbean islands. I like that. I like that. Makes me feel connected in that piece. Okay, this is all good stuff, because these are quite eclectic or spread and hints of magenta. Yes, and this is, okay, you're all seeing hints of these things which are all wildly different, which is actually everything this painting wants to stand for, because when I looked at it, the spread I saw in the color palette and the photo, but simply also in the textures everywhere over the surface, there wasn't continuity to this landscape, even though the whole thing was in harmony. There was this melting pot, this overwhelming sense that 1,000,001 things were available in this place. There were mountains, yet there were valleys. There were trees that looked like they were the same, but yet there was all these different species of. It was everything in one photo, and it was hard to actually pin down. I thought the only way to do that justice is to spread the palette wide and far and really let it embody as many pigments as possible. So in the same way, when you look at this one, you just get lost in it. And there's all these little moments. And we're getting there. But I just want millions, I say millions, I just want thousands of little moments for you to have your eyes wander across, to wonder and consider. And for a brief moment, this painting almost wants to behave like escapism. So for a brief moment, you kind of get lost and drawn into it before you pull back out and go on with your day. That's all it wants to do, just for a brief moment. But if it's your painting, so when it's in Jeffrey's house in Pennsylvania, it's got to keep pulling Jeffrey in with something new every time, never the same thing. If you get pulled in once because the painting's pretty, it won't rope you in with the same intensity again. But if the painting's got a million and one little pockets of interest and novelty, a painting can consistently rope back in its owner over and over again with a new little point or moment of interest. And that's the reason why this painting would have inherent value to Jeffrey over time. But if we had it to, like in the first 90 minutes, we would actually technically finish the painting. It was the mountain, let's be fair, it was the mountain. That's a painting that you could look at maybe 5 times, 10 times, but then you've got everything from it. That's not what we want here. We want a painting that keeps on giving more and more and more the more you have it in your presence. Such to the point, and we've talked about this, the point that actually you've seen it so many times that you start forgetting certain elements that you did see in the past so you can re-realize them. Kind of like going on a date with your partner and then realizing something that you fell in love with them for or got a crush on them for, but subsequently over years of dating, say, you forgot about. And having that little moment where you can actually reinvigorate or feel those butterflies again is a very, very healthy thing. Not saying a painting gives you butterflies. It could do. It could do. I've never had, I hope I'm not about to lie now, I've never had butterflies from a painting, like that kind of love, crush feeling. I've had euphoria. Now I'm interested to hear though, what are some of the strongest feelings people have had in reactions to art? What's been like, what feeling has washed over you? I've had inspiration. I've had euphoria. Peace, definite peace. Good morning from LA. Glad you got outside today. Thank you very much. Details looking amazing. Cheers, Keaton. Welcome on in. Laura. Hey, there is another live with you. Confused. No idea what that's about, but I can only assume it's another wholesome live. Teresa, hello. Ryan, welcome on in. And Jonathan, hello. Lovely people left, right and centre. And how tall is Bro? It's a great question. 3'7". This is actually a very small painting. For me, it's the ethereal feeling. Yeah, I think it was Picasso who said looking at paintings was something he valued because for him it was like praying. He felt like it brought him closer to God. I think that was Picasso. And I can get on board with that, definitely. I think there's an element for everyone of escapism. I think that's present in all art. A good picture should, if only for a moment, take you somewhere else and then not leave you somewhere else or make you afraid to come back to reality, but take you on a little journey and then plop you down where you were. And that's, I feel like that is where the job of a masterpiece starts and finishes. And once you start thinking like that, maybe it never plucked you out of reality, but made you just enjoy another facet of it. For the briefest of a little moment. I love that. Yes, to escape. I feel like a glass of wine. Have a glass of wine. Do your thing. I'm on a purge right now. I'd love to join you, but sometimes I like to remove things from my life or diet just to prove I'm not overly attached or have an unhealthy relationship with it. So the current thing that I've removed is alcohol. And then the next thing, as we cycle around all the things, will be coffee. We can reintroduce them, but I love seeing how the body behaves when you get something taken away. Has it started seeing something as a necessity, or is it seeing it as a would be nice? There we go. But I'm more of a, when I am having wine, I'm a red wine kind of guy. I love a red. Pinot Noir. A dark red too. Thanks, Andre. I can't imagine not feeling it all. It's an interesting comment. I'd only say that when you say you can't imagine not feeling it all, I think that sneaks up on you. I think it sneaks up on you because when you're numb, you don't fully comprehend that you're numb. You just sort of end up in the space. And sometimes the only thing that can save you when you fall into that kind of space is loved ones, family, friends who can actually spot that you're not yourself. Because once you're numb and you can't feel, it's hard to rationally look around and judge how you feel. It's kind of giving yourself a local anesthetic and then asking, how does your leg feel? You can't feel it. And that's a scary place to be. And I remember a numb feeling creeping across the nation in New Zealand when we were doing lockdowns during the COVID pandemic. And one of the reasons I actually started putting a lot of time into painting and streaming it live was, and I did it for family first. I thought, I don't want this numb feeling that's creeping into my heart to creep into anyone else's. So I'm going to make sure I have vitality and feeling in my life, and then I'm going to share it with my loved ones. I never suspected that there might be a world out there who would also want to join, which is, it's been a beautiful, beautiful thing. Oh, see, I thought that said AI, and I'm like, that would be the biggest, that would be such a deception if all of this was actually just AI. The voice was generated, the dude was generated, and the paint, everything was just AI. And the painting actually did exist, made by AI, just full on pretending to be human. I mean, wouldn't that kind of be cool? But jeepers creepers. Do you have a twin brother? Well, that's funny you say that. I've got one older brother who's 2 years older, and he's just got engaged, and one younger brother who's 4 years younger, and he is dating a lovely girl from San Sebastian. They live in Amsterdam. But, and that's the whole spread. The spread of brothers. There we go. Let's get a bit more. it's a beautiful day for it though. Listen to those birds. Can you hear the birds? I was out here looking at the garden yesterday, and I looked at a flax bush and I saw three tuis on the flax. I thought, by God, isn't New Zealand gorgeous? Three tuis. Tuis are a bird and they have a lovely little white tuft under their beak. They're almost completely black, but there's a beautiful blue tint down their chests, and then their beak has a slight curve. It's an absolutely beautiful bird. Beautiful, beautiful bird. But the tui, native of New Zealand, they can be quite elusive. And there were three of them in this tree. Sometimes also, I see a wood pigeon. The Te Reo Māori name for it is a kereru. Gorgeous bird, gorgeous bird. I'm not sure, but it must be a pleasure for bird watchers to come to New Zealand. No predators, I mean, we've got wild dogs and cats, I think, or wild pigs, but there's no bears, no lions, no snakes, no dangerous spiders. And I think this makes New Zealand a very safe place, certainly a safe place to go wandering off to look at birds. And I'm sure that level of safety probably makes people relax more. You have a bird there that makes a crazy sound like cuckoo. I don't know the name. Honestly, we got a few calls here. The one that sounds like a printer restarting, that's a tui. There's a few little sparrows around, and the one that's not a native, but it's a beautiful little bird, is the yellowhammer. So they're like a sparrow, but they have a little bit of yellow on them. I'm sounding like I know about my birds here. Let me preface this by saying I'm not very good with birds, but my grandfather, well, he knew a lot about birds. I remember watching him. We were sitting in a truck while the rain was coming down a little bit, and we were watching a little white dotterel, small bird, speckled coat, about this size. And the white dotterel was following a pattern around the beach. And he said to me, that white dotterel's got a nest. You want to be very careful because the nest will be nearly invisible. But if you watch the white dotterel and the pattern it goes on, it'll always return to the same space more frequently, and you just have to figure out where that is. So I watched and watched and watched. He'd already figured it out, but I was just watching. And I think I found where it was triangulating to. And so after a while, I said to him, I think I've spotted it. I got out of the car and I wandered down the beach, keeping my distance until a few yards away, I could see this tiny little nest with eggs in it that you could only spot because the eggs were the same roundness as an egg, not a rock, and it would be too perfect for 4 or 5 of them to be there together. And then I kept walking. I didn't want to make the little white dotterel panic, but that was the experience. And I thought, you have to do a lot of living and a lot of watching to be able to spot a white dotterel like that. And to know that's the case. You wouldn't have read it in a book. It'll just come from having watched and watched and watched. And that's something we lose these days, I think. It's not a bad thing, but we're so used to so much stimulation that actually we're not used to sitting still for long periods and just examining the world and being content in a situation where you may just sit and watch and nothing might happen. That sounds like a terrifying thing for us. But actually, that's how our grandfathers spent days. And because of that, you'd capture things that other people might miss. Let me catch up here, guys. Hello, Thomas. Welcome in. That's a great question. Honestly, we're not moving around too much. But I was anticipating, because it's sunrise at the moment, that the heat would get more intense. And I think it went into the realms of too difficult because I was fosking around the room trying to find things to wear and put on. And 2 socks was a tall order. So I thought, rather than keeping Shelby awake and scurrying around this room trying to find things, we'll call it here. And I'll go out in this. And it's been good. It's the right temperature. It's the right light. Everything's perfect for it. You know what I mean though, right? When it's like early in the morning and you can't turn the light on because it'll wake them up. So it's just you sitting there in bed, wondering where you left your pants, where you left your jockeys, where you left your shirt in the room, so you can actually get changed as fast, quietly, and seamlessly as possible to save from waking your partner up. I think we did a good job of that. Makes you want coffee? Welcome on in, Johnny. Go grab yourself a coffee. You know I'm a big coffee advocate. I've been trying to cut back, but I'm a big advocate for the first coffee. I just need to figure out how to manage my addiction. I think it's healthy. It's healthy to call it an addiction because you could say, oh, I just love coffee. Yeah, I do just love coffee, but I can do without it, but not without feeling like I really, really want it. This little bumblebees. I wonder if the bumblebee thinks the colour's actually a flower. Poor little attacker. He's got confused with the rest of the garden. But being that my stress levels might elevate in the absence of that first coffee, there may be elements creeping in that might identify early stages of addiction. Doesn't mean you have to do anything, but it does mean watch it closely, see where it goes. That bumblebee was very, very curious. It's still here. It's looking at the reference image now. Do bumblebees see colour? Is that a thing? Because it could be the case that bumblebees seeing flowers. And hey Kai, welcome on in, you absolute champion. Where is this going to go? There we are. It's snowing here. It's so beautiful. Christmas has that pleasant, charismatic stereotype. It does have a charm. I think that's why movies like The Holiday and what's the other one? Love Actually. Is it Love Actually? The one with the kids with Liam Neeson and he's trying to attract the other girl and he's learning the drums. Love that kid. There is a certain charm to a Christmas movie. Christmas movies get a bad rap, but there is a charm. You know, I think this Christmas, and if anyone has one, you're welcome to DM me. I think this Christmas, I'm going to do something a bit unorthodox. I think I'm going to be into a eggnog, that's what it's called, eggnog, is that I know it's like kind of taboo because eggnog's a thing that we connect with Christmas, but you never actually have, right? You never actually have. But for me, I want to try some eggnog. I like eggs. I'm just going to add the nog, right? It's like a bit of cinnamon, isn't it? And but I've never actually had it. So if anyone's got a tried and true recipe, I'm here to listen. Because I'm sure with eggnog, I reckon there's good eggnog and bad eggnog. And the key is actually finding or having tested and knowing this is the recipe. It's kind of like, I reckon it's like Bloody Marys. They get a bad rap too. Bloody Marys are a cocktail. But the thing about Bloody Marys is people think they don't like them. But have you tried a good one? Because when you try a good one, suddenly you change your mind. You think, actually, nothing I like more than when you're in an airplane and you get a Bloody Mary. The spice, it's the spice for me. To be able to, mimosa, I love your style, Johnny, but on an airplane, I just drink it too fast. So for me, on an airplane, a Bloody Mary, so I can sit there and feel the spice while I am trapped in the seat, watching, guys, this is shameful. I've seen Deadpool and Wolverine 2.5 times now. And I love it. I think it's hilarious. I love the breaking of the fourth wall. I think more movies should do it. There's obviously a good way to do it and a bad way to do it, but I felt nothing but joy when they were doing it in Deadpool. I think breaking the fourth wall is what makes Modern Family such a fun show to watch. And The Office. So you'd have these scenes and then it would go to an interview with the person looking straight at the camera. I think that's just really powerful. And a really interesting dimension to add into comedy, because it can only be so funny when you're caught in the linear process of a story with characters that don't know they're being watched. Once characters know they're being watched, the jokes have the ability to escalate to a new level or a different level of humour, and I really appreciate that. Let me come over here. Hey, Hedia, thank you very much. And Michael. Michael, this painting isn't your cup of tea? Or are you talking about something else? And that's good. If you can look at this painting and think, I don't really like it, ascertain why you don't like it. Is it too colourful, too blotchy? Are landscapes in your eyes a little bit boring? Would you prefer landscapes that have more control and shape in them? Or do you like something that splays out with texture? When you find you don't like something, really nail down why, because that'll actually make it easier for you in your life to gravitate or move yourself towards things you actually do like. It's a really cool thing. And like, it would be a disappointment if everything I'd ever made was something that you liked. That would be inherently a problem. It would mean that the art wasn't diverse. It wants to be diversified enough that there's stuff in my collection that you think, that's great, I love it to bits. I don't mind it. It's nice he made it, good for him. And I really dislike it, why'd he do it? There wants to be that spectrum, because that allows me as an artist to connect with as many people as possible. If you love everything, there's no flavor. There needs to be that, it's like a buffet. You don't need to like everything at the buffet, but there's got to be some things that you do love. I don't go for the, I used to, but I don't really go for the black bean stir fry at a Chinese buffet anymore. Nothing wrong with that. Flavor's just a bit rich. And I prefer to go for the sweet and sour pork. Have a bit of rice. Maybe have a samosa. But all the options need to be there so that I can choose the one I actually care about. The magenta always brings out joy for you, as long as you use it subtly. This painting here has an interesting relationship between the magenta and the dioxine purple, both just sort of tiptoeing around each other, which is fun to see. Really fun to see. Do you prefer overcast days for painting? That's a good question, Colin. Look, weather goes in all directions, and it's okay. What you need, what's nice for painting is diffused light, such that the surface doesn't have that, since it's glossy, a strong light source hitting it in a way that actually makes the painting chrome and shine differently. It needs to actually flatten so I can examine all the colours around it simultaneously. There we go. Let me have a little look-see at this. And these are the little colours we've been working to so far. Voila. So, sky blue, haven't touched it yet, but it's waiting there to be touched. And then everything else is just hanging out. It's just hanging on out. We might swap this palette over too. I've got 2 more plates. But this has been fun to add on so far. And we'll see what colour that we add in next. Gorgeous. Good on you, Michael. Proud of you. I love the relationship between, if anyone's seen it over the months, between Jay Smith and Michael. Michael's a wee bit of a teaser. He's the kind of guy who tries to grab a tiger by the tail, or that monkey that keeps tapping, trying to get a reaction. It's very naughty, but it's nothing if not entertaining. I shouldn't be entertained by it, but but not entertaining. Nothing if not entertaining. Now I'm making word soup out of what I'm trying to say. There we go. Gorgeous. I already know what songs would pair well with the vibe of this painting. I'm all ears. One song that I like is the chorus of Calling All Angels. Kind of links into all the colours that have been called to bring this painting to life. Calling all angels. All right, let's grab a bit more of this. Perfecto. To be honest, I love to paint, but since I moved to the city, I stopped. It's so much more peaceful in nature. That's partially true. Can I suggest something? One thing you can try, see that bird there? One thing that you can try is you can get a noise cancelling set of headphones, and don't play music. Music can be quite intense when it's the only thing that you've got over your ears. Although it can create euphoria, it can over control the moment. Try and put on nature sounds. Not just a waterfall, but you know, something with some interest, some wind, some birds, some rustling, and put that in the background and see how it makes you feel. It might help, it might not. But sometimes the issue we face is we go, right, it's time to paint. And what do? We put on some really intense, I'm like, I paint to this kind of music. But the music consumes the moment, and although you connect with it, you find it hard to actually bring the painting to life or to immerse yourself in it. So sometimes surrounding yourself with nature, even if it is just through a set of noise cancelling headphones with surround sound, sometimes doing that allows you to figuratively create the music rather than hoping the music will transmute into art. Each to their own though too. Each to their own. There's always a way to go around it. I agree. Yeah, maybe that's just what works for you. This is true. This is true. Everyone's different. Outside's not for everyone. Some people like to go to the lab and get immersed in an environment. I totally get that too. Each to their own. One of the biggest operational perks you get from being outside is the dispersion of fumes for your own safety. Just like that. This deeper blue, I'm just using it to capture some of these little trunks and where they sit. And on top of that, there's these beautiful little shadowy areas in the valley of these trees that we want to add in here. Getting back to nature helps with my anxiety. I like that. I like that. I think being your own coach, knowing where your heart sits or what helps you is a fantastic thing, whether it be sport, exercise, nature, an activity, whatever it is that helps you, be the best version of yourself. The messier the better. At the start, definitely, but as the painting wears on, that little bit more of control can really, really help